Alright everyone, so right now we are on Jared's 400 and Grandpa's pulling us in the 4240 and we're just getting everything out of the way for the snow. Bundled up like crazy, but the neighbors are getting grain out and we're going. We had a little tough time getting this thing out. We had a little spinach on the tires just because of all the ice around here. We're just getting all this stuff out of the way right now just to be able to plow with the snow plow, because there's a big storm coming and it's not going to be good. Now we're going to move this 60 John Deere into the shed. It's going to be exciting because none of these tractors have power steering, so I'm getting a workout. So now I'm sitting in the cab with a 4240, getting some warmth. It's pretty cold outside, but basically we're just rearranging all the tractors so they can fit inside our big machine shed, because there's a lot of snow on the way and we need to have enough room to remove all the snow. So right there we got the 966 International, and then right there is the 4020 diesel. That's the John Deere, and then we're gonna have to move this John Deere 60 inside the machine shed because it needs some work before it goes, because we're selling it. But that's basically the scoop right now. Later I'm gonna work on my Ford 8N tractor and try and get it running. Had some carburetor issues, and that's the plan. There goes the semi full of grain. Good luck on the roads. Alright guys, so we've got the 60 in the machine shed, and now I'm going to start moving my Ford 8N into our garage where it's a little warmer, and then I can start servicing it and change the carburetor out. Gramps is putting his 4020 in right now. Awesome. So we just parked this Kawasaki Prairie four-wheeler right in between the 4020 and the 60. So now I'm going to move our other four-wheeler and back my tractor out. Alright guys, so we pulled the Ford in, the 8N, but we kind of have a problem. So when we lifted up the door right there, that's broken off the track. And then this side right here has been broken for a little bit, or for a while. So what we're gonna do is try and fix that now, so then I can get the door shut, because what needs to happen with the Ford is I need to take the carb out. I need to basically rebuild that, put it back on. I need to take all the grease zerks off, replace them, and then fill everything with grease. And then oh yeah, and then there's rear end fluid I need to change, and oil. The antifreeze is good, but if I think of anything else, I'll let you guys know for sure. But that's what's going on right now. Jared should be out to the farm here soon. That might change because of the storm, but we're hoping that he comes out here. So see you in the next clip. Fixing this garage door, I got a call from Jared, and apparently the roads are really bad right now, and he has a wrestling meet tomorrow, which I didn't know about, so he won't be joining us today. But I'm working on this stuff. Well, it's storming. Can't see anything anywhere really, and then the snow is just perfectly covering up all the slippery ice that I can step on. So I haven't ate in like 3 or 4 hours, so I'm gonna go inside, have something to eat, and then probably go work on the garage door and fix up my tractor. As I'm now inside, it's terrible out there, but I'm gonna get something to eat and rest for a little bit, and then go out to the garage, just because it's been cold all morning and that 60 John Deere that we took out here. I had to steer it being towed down the highway behind Grandpa's truck, and that chilled me out pretty much. So yeah, we're just gonna rest inside for a little bit, and then we'll be out to the garage and get the tractor fixed. We're having some tasty pancakes that Grandma made up, so shout out to her for making these pristine pancakes. They're pretty big, and this is what I'm going to be eating. Sure hungry, but I don't think my name's Jack. A beautiful smile. So we're back in the garage, and I just took this track roller off of the garage door, and what looks wrong, or what was wrong, is this pin is supposed to go through that hole right there, and basically it just fell out. I don't know how, but stuff happens like that sometimes on the doors, especially these older sliding doors that have been in use for like 50, 60 years. So I'm gonna put this back, and the door should be good, and we should be able to close it because there's a lot of snow getting in right now. So the track is now on there good, and the roller's in the tracks. So now we can take care of this gap that's letting in all the snow and the cold air, and then we can be warm. Alright guys, so in the garage here we have a really nice wood stove. I'll show it to you in a minute, but it's really cold in here from having that door open that we just fixed, and we got some wood. We just got some wood actually going here, and we actually have a light too. But we've got all this wood back here. We got some tires stacked back there, but we're gonna go ahead and stack the stove and get it hot in here. Alright, so we got our lighter and some cardboard here. See if the lighter works. Catch this corner. And then see if we can get this fire. There we go. Alright, there's the fire. Now that the fire is actually going a lot better, we can start working on the Ford 8N tractor. Just in case, we're going to grab a little bit more wood for the fire, because I don't want to be freezing my butt off while I'm working on my tractor. I also want you guys to meet Spackles. This is our kitty cat. The story behind Spackles is the mom, we named her Tiger. We don't know where she's at actually right now, but we found her underneath one of our workbenches with a bunch of kittens one day. So we took all of them, took them to the vet, got them taken care of, and now they just stay around the farm with us. Alright guys, so I just thought about it. If I'm going to be draining my oil, I need to go get a oil collector that I can put under the tractor so the floor doesn't get all dirty and stained. Alright guys, so I just had to run a little errand for Grandpa. We had this truck fixed in town. Had to drive in this really cruddy weather. Thankfully the snowplow guy plowed my side of the road, and So I was pretty lucky. I got back to the farm safe. The green guy right there, he's taking off, so good luck to him because this weather actually sucks, but it's whatever. It gives me a good excuse to stay inside and work on my tractor. So now we can actually get to working on the tractor and draining the oil. Alright guys, so actually, now that I remember, the oil pan, oh gosh, the oil pan is in the machine shed, so maybe you guys will get to see me slip on camera, maybe not, but oh, also while we're here, I want to show you guys my Oliver 1550 gas. It's right there. It's got a rebuilt engine in it, good rubber. That's pretty much it. We just gotta get the engine mount situation done. So, oh, that's great. I just found the air cleaner cap on the ground, so that means snow has been getting all in the air cleaner and the air filter. So that's not good, but I'm just gonna go ahead and place that on there for now. I'm gonna worry about that in about an hour. But right now we need to get this oil changed because it hasn't been changed in probably, I'm guessing, 3,000 to 5,000 hours. It's been a while, so we're gonna grab this oil pan. Alright, we got our big oil pan here, and I'm gonna close this so it doesn't get filled with snow. So now we can actually start working on the Ford 8N tractor and get it all nice and ready for summer. Our fire seems to be going good now, so that's a positive thing. Now that I've got the oil pan under the Ford 8N, I'm going to try and find something to put on the floor so I don't get all dirty, and plus it'll be more comfortable. Alright, so I found this old mattress, air mattress that I got for free at a garage sale. So now we're set to actually drain the oil. After looking for a while, this is the plug. That's the size comparison to a wrench. And it took me about 15 minutes to actually find a wrench that would work. So it doesn't even show the size, so whatever. But we're gonna get this plug out and see how the oil looks. Alright, I just got it broke loose. I'm doing this one-handed, but oops. This was a tough drain plug. I can probably do it again now. I'm gonna get oil all over my hands, I already know this. Yeah. Fun fact, that's your oil filter. That's the oil. And that is not very much oil, so that might be why she's running pretty hard. So we're gonna let this drain, and in the meanwhile I'm gonna mess with the carburetor. Fun fact, a shop towel is a farmer's best friend. Alright guys, so I've had this carburetor and this carburetor torn apart, soaked in parts cleaner and everything, and I've rebuilt both of them, so I figured I would just spend the extra money and go ahead and buy a brand new carburetor. And there's nothing wrong with this carb except the fact when I leave the gas turned on, the sediment bowl, you can't really, that sediment bowl right there, when you leave it on, it leaks gas out of here, which means the float is probably stuck sometimes, but I can deal with that. I'll just run the tractor, or I'll open the bowl whenever I need to run the tractor and shut the bowl whenever I don't need to run the tractor, because I put around $15 worth of gas in this puppy last night and left the gas or the sediment bowl on or open, and I found it all over the floor in the machine shed. So lesson learned, kind of stay around to watch how your stuff works before you leave it, and always shut your sediment bowl off. Also, before this, I took the time and rewired this headlight and replaced this headlight. So now when I turn the key on and turn that, we got two working lights in a 1940s tractor. So that's pretty neat. Just in case, I'm going to take the extra time to clean this entire dipstick off and clean everything else on that plug, just to make sure everything inside of the engine is as clean as it can be to my standards, and then we can put oil in it. Alright guys, we're going on another mission. This time we gotta find some oil. Alright guys, so we got two 5W, well, we got 5W30 and 10W30. This has way more in it. It's about 3/4 full. And then we got rear end fluid, just in case if I get to that today. But we've got our oil, so I'm gonna make sure the tractor is done draining, and then we can get to filling it up. Alright everyone, so what I've been doing is taking this pick here and this screwdriver, and I've been cleaning out around all these grease zerks, but as you can see, there's no ball in there. And if you don't know what they're supposed to look like, I'll grab one, a brand new one here out of the box. I found these on our workbench conveniently, but this is the bottom. It's threaded, and then right there you can see the ball that keeps the grease from coming out. So whenever I grease this, the pressured grease just comes right back out and gets all over. As you can see, that's all just from that one spot, and it's kind of made a mess around here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this off with this crescent wrench. So I should be able to get it off. Yep. That's a good thing about grease zerks, is if you keep greasing, no matter if they work or not, they at least come out. And if they don't, you usually use a torch. But yeah, that end's all plugged up. So that one's no good. I'm gonna go ahead and dig around in here, make sure there's no hardened dirt or dust in there, and then I'm gonna replace it with one of these brand new ones. So far, we've replaced this one and this one, and that's all for the steering. Just makes it a lot smoother. And then we go around the back here, and we've got this one. This one is for the drawbar, the 3-point hitch. I'm gonna step inside here. This one I thought I was gonna have to take the torch to because it was on there pretty good, but I just scraped away a bunch of junk with this little tool here and got it loose. But the ball was frozen in there. This one actually had a ball, but it's, yeah, as you can see, whatever's in there is not the right color of grease. It's pretty old. So we're gonna replace that, dig around in there. And I also want to give a shout out to my shop teacher for giving me all of this grease for the grease guns for free. This is old co-op grease from like the 1970s that the school had, but it works. So thanks to him. He knows who he is. I'm pretty sure he watches the videos. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this irk fixed, and then we'll continue on along the side. Right, guys, so every grease irk on this side is done, and this grease irk's done, and this one, surprisingly, I did not have to change. You can see the shadow. You can see right there that the ball is still pushing up, so that means there's pressurized grease able to stay in there instead of getting out all over, creating a mess. And I checked back here. It's gonna be hard to see. It's right there. This is the rear end fluid. So it says low and plus. It looks pretty clean. I'm gonna drain it into a container that I can reuse, but I'm gonna try and get all the bad stuff off the bottom and then replace it with good stuff, so then our rear end can be happy. Use this grease gun containing some of the co-op gold grease that my shop teacher gave me, so I can fill up each of these irks I just replaced. Alright, so I ended up using the DeWalt electric greaser because the hand greaser was not working at all. And while I was greasing, I found 2 more grease irks that I need to replace. And I think that's gonna be all. There's only 2 more, and that's for the wheel bearings on the front. So I'm gonna do that, then we can get to changing the oil. Alright, so the other 2 irks I found were down here, and they worked on both sides. So we've got that greased, and that greased, and then the back 3-point greased. So the greasing is done, and the reason the greasers weren't working is because they were out of grease, and I didn't realize that. So I put some more grease in the DeWalt electric greaser because it went a lot faster, so we could get to changing the oil. So I am going to get to that, put the plug back in. Well, I'm going to clean it up first, and then we can put it back in and start adding oil. Alright, so for the bottom of this oil cap or oil plug, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put RTV, which is like form a gasket. So I'm going to put that all around the edge so it seals nice and we don't have any leaks. So now I have a good coating of this ultra black advanced formula gasket maker on the edge of this plug. So now I'm going to put that in the oil pan, and then we can start filling our engine with oil. So now we've got our oil plug in, we've got our funnel. I like these. Oh, there's still some oil in here. I like these funnels because they're threaded on the bottom and the top for these caps, so they're obviously a lot cleaner, and they have a accordion kind of like tube there, so you can bend it in whatever direction you need. So we're gonna grab the oil now. I'm gonna use the rest of this, and then we might be able to use some of the other stuff. Alright guys, so I just went on an Arctic mission to find this 10W30 oil, and I only used this drill as a light outside because it's dark and it's stormy. So yeah, after searching around for a while, I finally found some. So let's fill the tractor up the rest of the way with oil. The engine is now filled with oil. I'm gonna wipe that off. Gonna grab the cap, Put it on. And the engine is now full of oil and ready to be ran another 1,500 hours. Well, at least the oil will last that long. I don't know about everything else, but now it's time to open that up and find the transmission plug and drain most of the transmission fluid. So I've got this cap off, and I figured I'd look down there. Don't know how well you guys are going to be able to see. Yeah, this is, there we go. But that white stuff right there, it's supposed to be hydraulic fluid, and just looks like a bunch of bubbles, so that's no good. So we're gonna drain everything we can, and then try and get this filled with some actual hydraulic fluid. We're gonna see what comes out of here. I had to use the double wrench trick to get this undone. Oh, man, that's full. I effed up. Guys, so that was a terrible mess. I've already changed out of my sweatshirt because my elbow, well, all the way up to my elbow is completely soaked in rear end fluid and hydraulic fluid. But yeah, I definitely was not thinking, I don't know. I was looking down in there. I checked the level with the dipstick in the rear end, and it said it was dangerously low. So that made me think that there was only going to be a milk jug full, and it happened to be like 3 times that. So I've got the cat litter I'm going to throw down here. It shouldn't stain too bad once I get the cat litter on there, but oh, what's this metal? Oh, that's from that. I was thinking it was from the rear end. But this towel's ruined. That's okay. This is an old towel. But it's still leaking. I'm going to wait for that to drain. There's a lot of water in the rear end fluid from like condensation and whatever. So I'm glad I got that out. There's a lot of chunks of stuff. Not metal, but just dirty stuff. So I'm glad I got that. You can't see in there, but I'm glad I got it emptied, but not on the floor. So I'll clean it up next time you see it. Okay, so I cleaned up my mess. I got this first plug right there out and drained, and there's another plug back right about in the middle of that box. You see that? And it drained quite a bit. So personally, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I don't know if these 2 plugs are connected. And here, I'm just gonna assume they are, and I'll ask my grandpa and make sure. But that fluid was actually really bad. It had a lot of white stuff in it. So I'm just gonna fill this up until the dipstick on the other side says we're good, and then that might be all I do for tonight, because I made quite a big mess. Still gonna mess with the carburetor a little bit. I might do that off camera, but I'll show me putting fluid in here and everything like that. So at least that one went better because I learned something. Don't make a mess and use an oil pan or a fluid pan. So basically there's stuff like this in the bottom of my gearbox transmission. So I'm gonna clean all this stuff out, and then I'm pretty sure my transmission will be a lot happier. Ugh. Alright, after getting most of that fluid in the transmission, I think we're good to say that that whole service for the gearbox is good. I'm gonna check with the 2-plug thing with my grandpa, and if he says it's okay, then we won't have to come back to the rear end and spend more time on that. So I've got everything basically done that I wanted, except for the carburetor. I gotta work on that, but just looking around, I greased everything, changed the grease zerks. I need to air up the front 2 tires. Let's see. I fixed the lights, changed the oil. Oh, the last thing I need to do, besides the carburetor stuff, is I need to put the, here, I'll show you guys real quick. It's this carburetor, it goes to the air cleaner. I'll put that on tomorrow. We're out of wood, so that means time to go inside. I'm going to get a shower because this tractor job and moving all this stuff around today for winter sure has me pretty nasty. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up most of the mess that I created tonight and get some food, take a shower. I'll see you guys in the morning.